welcome to this week's episode of the TV and Film Review Podcast. I'm your host, Stuart Scott. Joining me today, we've got the creator, David McGregor.
Hello.
We've got former co-host, Liam Kearney.
Former, hello.
After you ditching us last week, definitely former. And we've got our as yet untitled movie expert, Kate McCall.
You just call me a movie expert.
Maybe.
Hello.
So, as usual, this week we'll be talking about what we've been watching on TV, or in the movies, perhaps. And we've got a few other kind of niche topics that we'd like to get into. So we'll start off. Kate, why don't you start us off? You've not been on in a couple of weeks. What have you been watching this week?
Well, actually, one of the main things that I've been watching this week is I've been rewatching Game of Thrones Season 3. Because obviously the new season starts in a couple of weeks. And we always do this, me and my husband. We rewatch the last season in its entirety a couple of weeks before the new season starts. Because, I mean, I can vaguely remember where we're at the end of Season 3, but it's so complex and there's so many characters, and I need to watch it all again just so I know exactly who's on whose side and where that person is heading, and things like that. So I've just watched a couple of episodes so far. So
whose side are you on, Kate?
I am House Targaryen, I think.
Yeah, same here.
I think she's great.
After Season 3, I have to be.
Yeah. I've got a soft spot for the Starks as well, obviously. So actually, I quite like the Tyrrells as well. So
yeah, I was going to say I like the Tyrrells.
Yeah. So just watching these last two again. I'm a big fan of Marjorie, so just think she's great.
Nobody a fan of Theon?
Nah, he's a dick.
No.
I take it I'm the only one that actually likes the Lannisters then. I love them. They're so hate-worthy. They're great characters.
They're good baddies.
Yeah.
They're good baddies.
Yeah.
Best part of the show, I think. And of course, Tyrion.
Yeah. Actually, I think Jaime had a really good arc in Season 3 as well.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying watching that again, actually. So
it's just a wee guy. What's his name? Joffrey. He's like the only one I don't like, but he's good to be a part of it. Everyone hates him. You have to hate him.
I think if there's ever, because I haven't read any of the books, so I don't know what's happening, but if there is ever a time when he gets killed off, everyone will be so ecstatic because he is such a evil little scamp. But he'll be a big loss to the show as well. So I think in the moment you'll be really thrilled that he's gone. But he is great for the show. So that's why it's so good, I think.
Have any of you guys read the books?
No, I've not.
I'm reading them at the moment.
Right, okay. My prediction, I've not read any of them myself, so it's not a spoiler or anything, but my prediction is that the next major character to get killed off will be Daenerys. I think she's... They're building her up so much to make her the one that you love, and she's got to be the next to go, doesn't she?
I think I would cry if that happened.
I think everyone would, and I think that's the exact point of the series. I think that's why.
I think there's so much more to come from her, though, with her dragons and going to war, because we haven't seen her at all. It's all we've just seen her sort of moving from city to city and gathering her army and growing as a person. We've yet to see her interact with any of the other main houses.
Yeah.
So maybe it does happen. I'd be gutted if it did.
It feels like all the kind of main heroes get killed off, like just when you start to really love them. But I think you're right. I think there's too much kind of unsettled with her that they could afford to do that.
I'll say nothing. I know who the big death is going to be.
Oh, don't say anything.
I won't say anything.
I know it's. I think a lot of people thought it was going to happen. I don't know who it is either. I just know there's going to be a death and it's imminent. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be the end of Season 3, but obviously the Red Wedding was such a major event that I don't think they could put anything more in there. Yeah. So I'm thinking it will be first couple of episodes of 4 we're going to get a big death. So
yeah, I think it's going to be early on going by the trailers, I think it looks like it's going to be quite early on.
I know, I'm trying to guess.
So.
I'm trying to guess from the trailers. I'm like, who's not in it very much?
Oh, God.
And my husband knows as well. And I'm so tempted to just ask him, but I'm not going to. But he accidentally spoiled himself on that as well. So you just can't read anything about Game of Thrones on the internet because it's just too dangerous.
I know. So what else after Game of Thrones?
So apart from Game of Thrones, I've been catching up on Community. I think it's had actually the last 3 episodes. It's on a really strong run at the moment actually. So the latest episode was kind of a return to the Dungeons and Dragons episode that they had. I think it was maybe season 2. They did a Dungeons and Dragons episode. But this one had David Cross in it. He's obviously
cool.
Tobias Funke from Arrested Development.
What a guy.
And he was really good. He was like a proper D&D nerd, and their attention to detail for things like that is so good. So it was a really funny episode. I liked it a lot this week.
It's been a good season for Community, hasn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Well, much better than last season anyway. It's been a bit strange kind of getting back into that style of it, but it's it's been funny and easy to watch again.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like a chore anymore.
No, definitely not. And what I think they've done really well with is obviously Donald Glover left maybe 5 episodes ago now, and I think they've done a really good job integrating other characters, such as the Professor Hickey, who kind of hangs out with them more now, and Brie Larson, who's Abed's girlfriend, who it's really great to see her pop up again in some episodes. And I just think they've done a really good job of, you don't feel the hole where he used to be.
Yeah.
And especially with Abed as well, because obviously those two were so tight. It's great to see him interacting with other characters and doing it so well. So I think they've done a really good job, and I think probably only could have done it with Dan Harmon there. So.
Yep, totally agree.
And the only other thing I wanted to mention was I watched a film last night. It's on US Netflix actually. I'm not sure about UK, but it's coming. I think it's coming out in the UK in a couple of weeks. It's called Haunter. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one.
Haunter?
Haunter, yeah. It's probably not. It's no. It's
sounds a bit scary to me.
Well, it's kind of I say horror film. It's kind of like a film that you'd probably watch at a sleepover when you're about 12, and it would probably be quite scary then. but when you're 28, probably not so much. But it's Vincenzo Natali's new film. He did Cube, and a few other films, and it stars Abigail Breslin, who was a little girl from Little Miss Sunshine. And I seem to be watching loads of her films lately, and I don't know why. A couple of weeks ago I watched The Call, which was out last year. Don't know if any of you guys saw that one.
Is that the one with, oh God, what's the name?
Halle Berry?
Halle Berry, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, as a 911
it's quite
operator.
good, isn't it?
I quite liked it, yeah. I knew it was, it goes crazy at the end, but I was prepared for that. But the first hour is pretty good. It's suspenseful and
very, very
clever.
tense,
Yeah, it was good. And I think Abigail Breslin tends to be going for these kind of roles at the moment. So in Haunter, she's this teenage girl who, she's kind of like living a Groundhog Day. So she wakes up every day, reliving the same day with her parents and her little brother. And they don't seem to realise they're reliving the same day, but she does. And then she kind of becomes to realise that there's kind of an evil presence in the house, and that in fact they're all dead. And it's kind of like, it's quite clever because it's kind of told, it's like a haunted house story, but told from the perspective of the ghosts. So you get the haunted house story where a new family moves into a house. They start to get a sense that there's things going on and kind of presence in the house, and maybe trying to connect with the ghost through like an Ouija board or something. But in this case, she starts to become aware of a presence, but obviously it's the living family that have just moved in, so she's like trying to connect with the living, and she's trying to stop what she thinks happened to her family, she thinks is going to happen again to this new family. So it's quite interesting, but it's a bit like The Call. It starts off really well, and then it gets a bit... The ending kind of reminded... Well, it just kind of reminded me of it like a Goosebumps plot or something. So, but you know, it was fun. It's just been added to Netflix, so thought it was worth a watch.
Yeah.
So
might give that a go if I get time.
Yeah. It's not scary, but it's fun. So.
All right, so
that's me for this week.
Okay. So Liam, what about yourself? What have you been watching?
This week I was just going to mention a couple of things. I don't want to be like Stu and keep mentioning the same things, but
Cheers.
Pretty Little Liars, which I seem to mention every week. It was a season finale this week, so watch that. I think Kate, you haven't watched it yet, have you?
I'm way behind. But you're fine to talk about it because I know who A is and everything because I've read the book. So.
You know more than me then. So it's quite good. Obviously, they kind of teased if you thought A, who's the big bad, was. But to kind of set it up, the premise of the whole show was this girl went missing and her body turned up like a year later, and her friends thought that she died. And then you found out last season that she wasn't actually dead and she is alive. So the finale was kind of like her coming back, and she was kind of explaining all what happened the night that she went missing. So it kind of answered a lot of questions as to that have been building up over the past kind of 4 seasons. So it was good. It kind of filled in, like I say, a lot of blanks. You still don't know who the baddie is. It kind of annoyed me though. It kind of did like who they kind of thought the baddie was. Like I think kind of like with 24, when you find out someone's a mole, up until you find out when they're a mole, they're totally normal, a sane person. They seem totally fine, and as soon as you find out that they're a baddie, they're suddenly acting totally mental. Like in Pretty Little Liars, that they thought it was one of the mums was A. And up until that point, she'd be fine. And then as soon as they kind of suspected her, she was being a total nutcase and was appearing in their bedrooms and all this kind of stuff. So, bit of a bugbear. But it's good. Bit of a shock death, or a couple of shock deaths at the end, which is always good.
Okay.
So quite looking forward to that.
Liam, I will do the reverse with Game of Thrones. So, who do you think A is? And I don't know. And I'll do my poker silence.
Okay. Who do I think A is?
Steve. It's got to be Steve.
No.
I think it's Bob.
This is an American show. It's got to be Chad or West or something.
Yeah. By the way, I've never seen the show at all. What sort of name is A? How does that come about?
It's because the girl that dies is Alison.
Ah.
So at the start they keep getting these messages from A, and they kind of at the start think it's Alison's ghost to begin with, and then they think it's someone pretending to be Alison, so she's calling herself A. And then it just kind of sticks the whole way through. Like
maybe it is Alison.
I mean, you think you've.
Have you found her body?
But yeah, well, she's just come back. She's alive, so she's come back, and she's now back into the fold. So she's not really been killed off. But yeah, you don't. I think there seems to be work. They all seem to be working together. Loads of people seem to be working together to kind of terrorize these girls. So they were the A team at one point, which is obviously a bit of a clever pun. I don't know. I honestly don't know who I think A is. I don't know. At this point, with who's left, I think Hannah's mum, but that seems a bit left field. But I honestly don't know. I don't know. I thought it was Ezra, but from what happened in the finale, it's not him.
I wish it was Ezra, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hate Ezra.
Pass.
Carry on.
Yeah, well,
I
you might not have to worry about him for much longer. Shall we just say that?
Excellent.
Whoa, spoiler.
Spoiler.
Happy spoiler.
Oh, I know. It was good to begin with, but just got annoying by the end. What else have I been watching? I thought I'd give a quick shout out to this show on Comedy Central called Review. It's got Andy Daly in it, who was on Eastbound and Down.
This sounds really familiar. Was that one of the Amazon pilots for last season?
No.
I don't know.
No.
It's on Comedy Central.
I'm sure we spoke about this before. That's the only things I can remember.
basically what it is he kind of plays this reviewer, and rather than reviewing movies and books, he reviews life. So he kind of gets these viewers, in inverted commas, to kind of email in things they want them to do. Like in the first episode, they want him to review what it's like to steal stuff, what it's like to get addicted to drugs. One of the questions this week was what it's like to eat 15 pancakes. So he eats 15 pancakes, feels terribly sick, and then later on the next question is what's it like to eat 30 pancakes? Yes, into it again. So it's really funny. I'm probably not making it sound funny.
Do you know what I like the sound of this?
It's absolutely hilarious. It is good. I really recommend it. It is hilarious. It's all like making a sex tape, and it's just really, it's kind of a bit of an odd kind of sense of humour, but I find it hilarious. So I just want to kind of put it out there, get it on people's radar, and suggest that you definitely try and watch it, because it's really, really good.
Yeah,
really like
I've been told to watch it, so
yeah, definitely recommend it. And the only other thing, I know you, Stu and Kate don't like it, but I just had to mention this week's Walking Dead. We've kind of had a.
Don't you worry, Liam. I'm a fan.
Good. I'm glad you're on then, David.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we had a rant the other week saying that there wasn't much character development. I feel since it's come back, they're trying to do a lot of character development, because most of the episodes just focus on one or two people. Like we had an episode that was just Daryl and Beth, and an episode that was just Rick and Carl and Michonne, which wasn't great because it was Carl. Anyway. And this week's one was Carol, Tyrese, and baby Judith and the two young girls. Really good episodes. I thought all the actors in it were fantastic.
Very dark.
Quite a few kind of, yeah, it was, and kind of the way I don't really want to speak too much because I don't want to spoil it for people, but like with the kind of things that happened with the two young girls, I thought I'm quite surprised they kind of went there.
Yeah, I was
really,
surprised
really
as well. Actually, I didn't see it coming, and
no.
The whole episode I thought was a bit kind of creepy, a bit depressing, very dark. For the first sort of 20 minutes, I wasn't liking it, and I was actually thinking to myself, do you know what? I'm starting to side with Stu here, and possibly, going to be ditching it. But then by the end of the episode, I was kind of almost reeled back in. But in saying that, I don't think it's been a great season so far.
No, I'd agree. I don't think it's been great. I think kind of them kind of splitting the characters up in a way is kind of highlighted more how you don't care about a lot of them. Like Maggie is off with two characters whose names I don't even know. Yeah. The alcoholic and Tyrese's sister, who and nobody really cares about any of them, so why we need to focus on them, I don't know. But yeah, I just thought this week's episode was really strong, and just wanted to kind of mention it to say that I think it's, like you say, it's not perfect, but I think it's slowly getting itself back to where it was.
I think they need to get to this. Is it Terminus?
Terminus.
Yeah, I think they need to get there and some more action. And I like you. I don't really care too much about everyone individually spread out in their own storylines. I can see why they've done it to try and get the character development going. But for me, it's not worked.
No, yeah, I agree. I think it's worked with some people, but overall, I think it's a bit. Yeah, I don't think it's quite worked overall, to be honest. So yeah, I want them to get back together. But I'm guessing that's going to be the finale. Is when they're all going to get back together at Terminus. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me.
All right.
Obviously, I've watched loads more, but I won't bore you with it because I'll probably take up the whole podcast. So we'll just go with those three.
I just want to jump in as well. I've not been watching The Walking Dead. I'm not going back on my promise. But I was guesting on another podcast this week. My friend Sean. It's a titleless podcast. I'll put it in the link dump. Very good, quirky kind of comedy, but they're all great laugh. And they kind of spoiled it for me. And it sounds like a really good episode, that last one. I don't like any of the characters, but it sounded like an interesting plot. I'm quite glad they done that.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like all of those characters, then it's quite a good episode.
Okay, so David, do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next?
No, I'll go. To be honest, I haven't watched a great deal this week. I've been pretty busy. I've only caught a few things of note. One of them I wanted to touch on was I caught the pilot for The 100. I think you would have watched this, Liam, wouldn't you?
Yes, I've watched it.
Yes. The 100, it's a CW.
I didn't mention it because I thought you'd mention it.
Yeah, CW drama. It's the basic premise is something's happened to Earth. I can't actually remember if they told us what happened to it, and it was people weren't able to live there, so everyone's off on a space station. The Earth is completely Alright, I can't say that word.
A deserted world.
Yeah. Something happened to the Earth, and it's a deserted world now. Everyone's off living in a space station. Fast forward 100 years, and they send some kids. Well, when I say kids, they're all teenagers. They're all very good-looking people, as per every CW show. Send 100 of them down to the Earth to I assume repopulate it and scout it out, things like that. It's very CW-esque. It's got everything you would want from a CW show. And the first episode I thought was pretty good, actually. I'm interested in it, and I want to see more. I don't know what you thought, Liam.
Yeah, no, I thought it was quite good as well. Like you say, it's very CW-esque with all the pretty people. I was going to say I didn't really sense a love triangle, but actually I probably did. But it was 2 girls and a guy this time rather than 2 guys and a girl, so they are mixed up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was good, and the bit at the end where they're maybe not alone in that, and they kind of give a short preview of the whole season. So
oh yeah, I didn't like that at all.
No?
But sometimes shows do and on the next episode, and then give you a trailer or a short clip. This seemed to just give you like a 5-minute thing from the whole season, which I thought was rubbish, because at the end of the episode, I think there was one of the characters that had supposedly died, and then you see him in the in the clip for the next episode.
Oh, that's a bit shit.
So it's I didn't think that was very good, but I'm quite encouraged by the show, actually. I thought it was good. I'm a massive fan of Henry Ian Cusick, who was Desmond in Lost.
Woo!
Yes, so happy whenever he pops up. Although I can't ever get over him not doing a Scottish accent from watching Lost. I've seen him in a few things. I know he was in Scandal as well. Was it season 1 of Scandal he was in?
It was.
Yeah. So I watched 100. That was good. I caught the first episode of Resurrection. I think you guys sort of touched on this a couple of weeks ago on one of the podcasts. I think possibly when Kate was talking about The Returned. Or Liam, was that you?
It was me talking about The Returned.
Oh, was it the advert for Resurrection that we're talking about?
Yeah, because it was just every Oscar advert, it was Resurrection's coming, Resurrection.
Yeah. And it was okay. I'll probably check out the next couple of episodes. I can't really see it amounting to much, but they're certainly plugging it hard. And there was a lot of arty-farty special effect scenes, I thought, where they're trying to be clever with the camera and things like that, which you don't normally get from these kind of shows. So, as I say, I'll probably check out the next couple of episodes. Only other couple of things I wanted to touch on was a web series, Video Game High School.
Oh yeah, that's Freddie W's series.
Yeah, it's been on the go for a couple of years now, and I just eventually checked it out. I was scrolling through Netflix and I gave it a shot, and I think it's quite good. I was just going to see if any of you guys had caught it and whether it's worth sticking with.
I only watched the first episode a while back, and I liked it. I just never. I think it was only the one episode that was out, and I totally forgot about it at the time. It was a fair few years ago, but I might go back to it.
Yeah, I'll maybe pick it up and give a report back in a few weeks' time.
Yeah,
and the only other one,
big fan of his stuff. You'll see his videos pop up quite a lot in Best of the Web as well. His kind of YouTube page. So yeah, I'll probably go back and give it a go at some point.
Yeah. And the only other thing we touched on it slightly earlier on was Rain, again on the CW, and I have to admit I've been turned around on this. I was ready for ditching it, and I'm right back in. I think it's so cheesy and sometimes laughably bad, but I'm hooked, and I'm hoping you're still up to date with it, Liam.
No, the last episode I've seen is the wedding episode. I'm a couple of weeks behind.
Yeah.
But,
are you still enjoying it?
Yeah. Yes, I like Amy Brenneman came in as Mary's mum. I don't know if she sticks around. I thought she was really good, and although her accent was all over the place. We've talked about accents before. I don't know where she was meant to be from.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Amy Adams, an American Hustle effort.
Well,
I don't know.
The thing is,
American
I mean, you've got all these. I mean, the bulk of the show must be based on what Scottish and French characters, and there's not a single Scottish or French accent in the show. It's just bizarre.
It's weird, but yeah, I like it. But I don't. I think it's not really what it's turned out what I expected it to be, because in the pilot with the kind of girl with the paper bag, the bag on her head, I thought she was like a ghost, and it turns out that she's not. So I thought it was going to go a bit more supernaturally, and it's kind of
turns out she's just a very ugly girl.
Yes, ugly by CW standards. Well, she is actually ugly as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's good. It's all right. I'm sticking with it. But it's got a second season, so I'm quite happy.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Had it been not been renewed yet, I'd be maybe touch and go. But I'm happy that it's got a second season. Now they've got I don't know whether they'd already filmed the finale, but now at least they've got more of a chance to sort of build it up and prepare us for next season. And that's pretty much all I've been watching this week. I caught Sunshine on Leith as a film the other day. I know, Liam, you're from Edinburgh, and Stu, you may have caught that.
You might have caught that. No, not because I'm from Glasgow. Just
because you like your musicals, don't you?
I do. I love a musical.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it though. I really fancy going to see it, but I couldn't find anyone to go. I didn't want to go myself.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was quite good. And that's pretty much all I've watched this week.
Cool. For me, I have been watching all the same stuff, but some new things as well. I caught up on a couple of my sitcoms that I'd kind of fell away from. I've ditched Big Bang Theory altogether. I just can't be bothered with it anymore. It feels like the same episodes every week now. New Girl, I've been catching up with that the last few episodes. I don't know, it's still pretty good. I feel like it's suffering from the usual sitcom thing, where as soon as the two they won't the characters get into the relationship, it kind of falls apart and they don't really know what to do with them. It's better than most, but you can see it starting to get that way.
Have they sorted out their Winston problem?
Do you know, I think he's pretty good this season.
I think he's
been pretty funny.
He's great. Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably the best. He's probably my favourite character now in it. I think they've totally gone, let's make him a total nutter.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious.
It works, yeah. And they've brought Coach back as well.
There was a big risk with him as well, wasn't there? Because they brought the Coach character back, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did he stick around? I don't know. I'm not up to date with it.
Yeah, he's still in it now, yeah. And yeah, it's Damon Wayans, isn't it?
Yeah. I know when he was coming back.
Amazing.
Yeah, there was a sort of big risk that they might just punt Winston.
Yeah. No, they all worked really well together. It's good having the two of them in the show because they're so different, you know. They tried to do a thing with, I forgot her name, is it Cece?
Oh yeah.
Jess's friend, yeah. With her and Coach, and obviously the writers weren't all thrilled with it after the first try, and they've just kind of made them like BFFs now, and it's good, it's quite funny. I like how that's going. So New Girl and Modern Family was the other one that I caught up on, and that's a great show. It's very, very broad comedy, but it's good. It's like Friends was at its peak. Just appeals to everyone, but without being kind of generic, you know.
I really like Modern Family as well. I haven't seen this week's, but I'm pretty much up to date apart from that.
I don't think I've seen this week's either. I caught up. It was like last weekend, so I'm just still an episode behind, I think. But it's really good. Obviously, Eric Stone Street and Jesse Tyler Ferguson, by far the best characters.
Yeah.
The gay couple.
Yeah, they've really grown on me actually. I kind of, but I still love Phil Dunphy. I think he's great.
I was gonna say, Phil Dunphy's great.
He's still the best, but they've really grown on me actually.
I think those two are the best as Cam and
Mitchell, that's it.
Mitchell, yeah, that's the one, yep.
Yeah, no, I think and Cam's becoming one of my favourites, actually.
Yeah, it feels like he's got more to do in it the last couple of seasons. Because he started out and he was just Mitchell's partner.
Yeah.
And then obviously he was getting all the good jokes and all that and just being really stereotypical. But because he's been given more to do, even though he is still pretty stereotypical, it's funny, it works. And he just rules that character. Obviously Phil's got all the best jokes and everything, but I think those two are what hold the show together. Without them, I don't think it would be the same.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Mitchell has, compared to Cam, he can be more of the straight guy, but actually Mitchell himself is actually really funny as well. So both together, they're great.
Yeah. What else have I been watching? I've had a bit of a guilty pleasure week, catching up on Parenthood and Grey's Anatomy. Grey's has been pretty rubbish this season. We've had the discussion before. It's the interns that just ruin it. Last episode was pretty good. It kind of get rid of some of the bad stuff, and it didn't really bring anything great to it. But it was tugging at the old heartstrings as usual, doing what it does best. But I'm quite interested to see. This is Sandro's last season. I'm quite interested to see how it's going to be without her, because she's been quite a main focus of the story this year, and it's going to be weird when she's not there anymore to give that kind of edge to it, like the all pro sort of thing, no social life version of it. It's going to be very one-sided after that. And Parenthood's it's been good. It's one of the weaker storylines, but the whole kind of divorce thing, separation thing, whatever. It's fine. It's not the best season. It's not the worst season.
I don't think it was ever going to be as good as last season.
Oh no, they were never going to reach that height again. Yeah, that was really strong. And I kept feeling like they were going to go back to it. There was a few wee bits that made me think, like the phone calls and all that, that made me think they were going to try and reuse it, and I don't think I would have been too happy with that. With Sarah and Hank, Ray Romano, by the way, who plays Hank, he is absolutely superb. He's such a great kind of straight man actor in that. Obviously, everyone knows him from Everyone Loves Raymond, but he doesn't really get the credit for his actual acting skills. And yeah, he's been great this season as well. He's a really good inclusion for the show. Works well with it. So it's been cool seeing his character and Max kind of building a bit of a relationship. The separation plot's not been that great, and it's like selling the family home and all that. It's just a bit kind of generic compared to what it has been in the past. And the last thing, I watched the Veronica Mars movie. You can see my review on the site. I'll put it in the link dump. Make sure you read it before you watch the movie. Even if it's just spending a few quid on iTunes for it. It's very hit or miss. And there's a kind of checklist you have to be able to fulfill before you can enjoy it. I know, David, you've seen it, didn't you?
I have, yes.
Would you agree that it's
yeah,
90% fan service?
As someone who's never watched the TV show, I thought it was okay. It was at the start of the film they gave some of the backstory about who she was and who her dad was and how she's linked with Logan and all this sort of stuff. So they give you that at the very start of the film for the benefit of anyone who's not watched it, but it's still nowhere near enough to actually get all the in-jokes, and I suspect if you're a fan of the show, then you're going to love it, and if you've never watched the show or didn't like it, then it's going to be a bit meh.
I thought that without the fan service in it, it would have just been like an hour and a half long episode of a TV show.
Yeah.
That you were jumping in the middle of.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Which is not very good, obviously. But as a Kickstarter project that it's fan funded and all that, it's great. It gives every fan the kind of closure that they wanted, but without being closure, if that makes sense. So it's like open-ended closure.
Is there not talk of a sequel?
I don't know. I like I said in the review, there's a possibility of it, but I would be quite happy if this was it. Like I didn't feel it was finished after the show ended. Now I feel like it could be finished, and I'd be quite happy with that. It'd be nice if they made a better one, like for a general audience though. That was the only kind of disappointment I had. I can't go and say to my friends who haven't watched the series, go and watch this movie, you'll love it, and it'll make you want to watch the series, you know. Last thing that I wanted to bring up was it's a bit off topic, but David, you got your look rate this month?
I did, yes.
Yes, what did you think of it?
Very disappointed.
Were you really?
Absolutely. I think for the benefit of anyone listening who has no idea what we're talking about, Loot Crate is a subscription box service where you pay. I think it's in the UK it's £15 every month.
18 quid.
£18, yeah. And every month you get sent a whole box of sort of like geeky merchandise. It's the easiest way to explain it. So you always get sort of like a T-shirt and maybe some action figures and all sorts of little bits and bobs. I didn't like it this month, because it had a theme which was Titans, and there's apparently a computer game, some Attack of Titans or something. Is that it?
No, that's the other one. Oh. Titanfall.
Titanfall. I'm not into my computer games at all. I'd never even heard of it, let alone played it or knew who any of this stuff was. So that was the T-shirt and the wristband, I think, and all the other stuff related to that. I was, didn't care for.
Well,
and then the other Titan stuff was the Japanese manga thing, which again I'd heard you mention it, I think, on the podcast, but I'd never heard of it before that. I'd never seen it or read it or anything like that. So
this is why I brought it up, because you get a copy of the comic.
You do, yes.
Or the manga, whatever you want to call it. Did you read any of it?
No, I've not read it yet. That's right. Probably the only thing of interest, that was in it. For me, it was a complete miss this week. It wasn't my theme at all.
If you find either way, do both of them. Read it or watch the anime series on Netflix. You've got the American Netflix. It's all on there. Give that a watch. It's so good.
I don't know. It's all manga, isn't it? The cartoon as well.
Yeah, it's like that kind of animated style.
Do you know
the only thing that might put you off is in Japanese on Netflix. Obviously English subtitles.
No, I mean subtitles don't bother me at all. Manga does. I just
you don't like that style?
I just can't get into it for some reason. And it's I've tried with a couple of things in the past, and I heard you talking about it the other week, and no, it's just not for me at all. I really struggle to get into any sort of cartoon things. I know I've mentioned Adventure Time before, which I think is fine.
I'm going to have to go into another one as well after this.
Yeah, this actually provides a good segue into cartoons, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. We'll move on to that in a little second. What about Bravest Warriors? You said you were watching that. Is it? Have you started enjoying it as much as I do yet?
Sorry, I took a really bad time to have a biscuit. I thought you finished with me, so I muted my microphone and just shoved a biscuit in. Sorry, give me 1 second. Bravest Warriors.
Yes, Bravest Warriors.
I haven't watched any more of it. I will pick it up probably at some point, but I didn't enjoy it enough that it's making me want to seek out the remaining episodes.
The next one is probably the best one so far. Look where you are in it. I went back and watched that episode again the other day. It's funny. Yeah. And I think that's where it kind of starts kicking off. I'm hoping that's where it'll hook you in.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay, so segue cartoons to more cartoons. We wanted to talk this week about the cartoons that we grew up with. A bit of a nostalgia trip for us. So basically, stuff from the 80s and 90s, like everything that is now merchandise, basically. Everything that's got a movie or will be getting a movie. I know, Kate, you had one in particular that's been in the news recently.
Yes. Well, I just thought it's quite a relevant topic to do, just because we've had quite a lot of news this week about 80s cartoons getting a big screen makeover. So, firstly, Banana Man's getting a film.
I love that.
Oh yeah, totally
love it.
Banana Man.
Which I must have watched when I was younger, but I don't remember being like an avid fan of it or anything like that. But I've been doing an article for the website today about cartoons that are coming to the screen, so I've had to do a little bit of research and didn't realise Banana Man was so quintessentially English. But I think it was I don't know. I think it was in a comic strip, because it was a comic strip originally. I think it was in a comic called Nutty or something, but then it eventually made its way into the Dandy and the Beano, and then it got its own TV series. So it's going to be quite a British film.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Banana Man showed at all over in the States or in a lot of other countries. To other people,
what the hell?
Yeah, Banana Man. Do you know what? They should rightly be thinking that as well. I loved Banana Man as a kid. I can't see how it's going to work as a film at all. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because they haven't really revealed whether it's going to be live action or whether it's going to be animated yet. So
it can't be live action, surely. They're not going to put a guy in the banana suit. You never know.
It'd be great if they did, though.
You never know. I mean, if you look at, if it's a comic strip, just as like Spider-Man's a comic strip and Batman and they're live action, so
you might try and make Banana Man quite cool.
Yeah.
That would be awful.
Just trying to think of which actor they're going to get who would stoop to putting on a banana costume and being Banana Man. But
I saw an article somewhere they suggested Matt Smith to do it. I don't know if he'd stoop so low, but he's kind of a bit of a nerdy kind of guy. You could see it.
I can see the resemblance to the cartoon character in his face. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the thing is, because with Banana Man, you only really see what his eyes and mouth, because he's Eric as a little boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
You never see Banana Man without the mask. So
yeah. So is he a boy and then he becomes a man when he's a? Okay.
He's a banana. Come on, Kate, get with it. Little boy eats a banana, becomes a banana man.
Yeah.
It's
not banana
simple.
boy.
Yeah.
Clues in the name. And then the other one that's getting a film is one that I'm really excited about, which is Gem and the Holograms. Which I don't know if I mean it is a girly cartoon, but I know boys that have watched it. So does it ring a bell with any of you guys?
I remember I used to have a videotape. It wasn't of that, but I had like a lot of kind of half episodes on it. And Gem and the Holograms was one of them.
Yeah.
And I used to just remember it being this weird psychedelic pop group. And you could sit and watch it, not even know what they're saying. Just look at it, and it would amuse you for 15 minutes or whatever.
Well, when I grew up watching it. We had I think we had a couple of VHSs in our house, and one of them was like the first 5 episodes, so like the Gem origin story, basically. Run together, so it was like an hour and a half film. So it was like the Gem film. And then we had a couple more episodes on VHS. We used to just watch them over and over and over again. And when I got US Netflix last year, the very first thing I watched, because I was so excited it was on there, was Gem and the Holograms. So
it's on Netflix?
It's all on Netflix. So to get you in the mood for the film, which I think has been fast-tracked to next year or something, it's all on Netflix, all like 100 episodes of it or whatever.
Jesus.
But yeah, I'm really excited about that. Not a huge fan of the director, but he's done, I think he did Step Up 2.
I was going to say it was
John M. Chu.
John M. Chu. Yeah. I think he's a really good director. Did he not do the good new Fast and Furious movie? Is it Fast 5?
Yeah, I think he did one of the Fasts. He did.
And I remember it being really good. It was the one that I'd seen, so I don't think it was Fast 6. Maybe Fast and Furious, the fourth one.
Yeah. And he did G.I. Joe as well, which I think was last year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Let's not mention that one.
He's an interesting guy, actually, because he's been linked with the new He-Man film as well. This
right.
He-Man film that's on the horizon, but will they ever make it? I don't know. But yeah, he's gone in a slightly different direction and gone for essentially it's like a battle of the bands type show. So you've got Gem and the Holograms who are like the goodies, and then you've got the Misfits who are like another girl group, but they're anarchists and they're a bit crazy, and it's just about those two dynamics. So be interesting. Obviously it's going to be live action. Be interesting to see, and it's interesting the way they did it actually, because they released a video online this week saying they were going to make the film, and it's kind of like asking, because obviously Gem's got such a huge fan base, they're asking like the fans to come up with ideas for it, and they've also done like an open casting call for it. So hopefully they'll just cast a load of unknowns for it actually, and then they will become Gem and the Holograms, and then they can tour, and then I can go see Gem on tour, which is just such a crazy thing to say, but you never know, it might happen. So
do you know
there's some great songs.
Do you know the casting? Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I'm a great singer and dancer, and I have magic.
Wouldn't it be your dream come
so,
true though?
You know.
Dream come true.
I think it would be ace. I'll probably go for Americans, but might have a go.
So I take it it's going to be kind of targeted towards the people who are fans as children.
Yeah, I would have thought. Well, and kind of, I think it's going to be a reimagining of it. So I'm not sure how close to the original they'll go. Because I mean, when you talk about the story of it, it's pretty weird. It's about a girl who her father dies, and he's a record. He owns a record label, and I think he leaves it to her in his will, but then he's got like an evil colleague who wants to take it from her, and he's the manager of the Misfits, and so she has to find a way to save this studio, and her father leaves her this magic computer called Synergy, who is able to transform her into her alter ego of Gem, and then she makes this band up, and it's all about her against the Misfits. So it's a bit sci-fi's the word, but it's got a bit of weird technology in there. So how they're going to do that on the live action, I'm not really sure. But I mean, the thing with Gem was it was all littered with songs. So I think he did the Justin Bieber concert film as well. So it'd be interesting to see what he does with it, whether they'll take songs from the original show or just come up with a brand new band and have them do new songs. I don't know. Yeah. I'm intrigued.
So what about you, David? What was your favourite from when you were a kid?
Favourite cartoon?
Yeah.
Do you know, it's a toss-up between Thundercats, which I'm sure others will touch upon later. But the other one that I'm going to mention is Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
All right.
Which I just loved, and do you know, I'm really glad that it's never been made into a full feature film. Even a lot of the other ones, I'm sure there was a DuckTales animated film, and I'm sure a whole lot of the other sort of Disney TV cartoons got made into feature-length film, but they never did a Chip and Dale one, and I'm quite glad they didn't do that, because I'd feel like they'd kind of ruined my memory a little bit. And I had a very catchy theme tune as well.
Yeah, I saw it because Taylor's done a article.
She has, yeah.
And it was I've had it in my head for days.
I don't know how they could do a film of Chip and Dale though.
Yeah, they
Alvin and the Chipmunks, didn't they?
Yeah, they could go down the CGI route.
Oh yeah, like they did with Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Garfield, they did that. Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
God, Garfield was awful. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, it was weird. That cat was definitely a stoner, wasn't he? All he done was just sleep and eat all day.
Yeah.
That sounds like he was smoking pot.
Maybe it was in the lasagna. Who knows?
Spiking his lasagna. Yep, just add some herb on it. Yep.
Why not?
What about you, Liam? What's the one that you remember the most?
Oh, I don't know. There's too many. Well, I've been having a look. Thundercats, obviously, huge fan. I have the box set.
Me too.
In my flat. I love it. Captain Planet. I just love Captain Planet.
Well, that's
Planet,
been made into
really?
a film.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved Captain Planet. That was an amazing.
Man, that guy was such a goody two shoes, wasn't he? Saving the planet and all that.
Planeteer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just not hard though. You don't want to be hard.
Do you
No,
remember
that
the
was a
theme
rubbish
tune
one.
to that one?
Yeah.
Go for it, Liam.
I'm not going to sing it though.
Sing it.
If I'd had a few drinks, maybe. And Bucky O'Hare as well. Classic show.
Oh, thank God, when I remember. That was the Green Rabbit, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Green Rabbit, the four-armed duck, and the wee robot with the one eye against all the toads.
See, if you look back at the action figures of that, I remember my friends used to have one.
I had them
when we
all.
were kids.
I
And,
was such a cool kid.
that Green Rabbit, it looks spit an image of the rabbit from Donnie Darko. Like, see if you melted it, like, put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, it would look the exact same.
This sounds terrifying.
It's freaky. He's got those big giant eyes.
I have a phobia of rabbits. Can I just say now?
I was going to make a rabbit noise, and then I realised I don't make noise.
What is
was
it
it,
about
the,
rabbits that you don't like?
Well,
Monty Python reference?
No, I watched Watership Down way too young.
Oh.
They are evil in that.
Not even Bugs Bunny.
It's more people who dress up as rabbits, so I can't watch Donnie Darko.
Yeah,
I've never
that would
watched
freak
Donnie
me out
Darko.
as well.
I can't watch it. It's terrifying. And just sometimes you'll just get like Halloween episodes of like a show that you're watching, and there'll be like a giant rabbit in the background. It'll just freak me out. So anyway,
Well, like the Vicar of Dibley when the Easter and they all dressed up as the rabbits.
oh, I haven't seen
Even
that.
that freak you out. Oh, right,
It
okay.
probably would, yeah.
Good South Park episode where they all dress up as rabbits as well. See, I mean, all you guys are saying like Thundercats. That was like right on the borderline when I was starting school. I started hearing about that. It wasn't really my thing. The stuff that I was into, it was all like I said before, the stuff that's getting made into movies now, like Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were my favourite. I used to have just like those toys all over my house, just scattered about everywhere. I think I've still got some Transformers actually.
I think Transformers and Ninja
Transformers.
Turtles were they not right back in the 80s as well?
Oh, were they?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure they were.
yeah, Turtles definitely was, because my top two were always Thundercats and Turtles.
Yeah. I mean, Turtles is massive now. Again, it's almost gone complete circuit. You know, obviously it was massive in the late 80s, early 90s. And then it's huge again now. I think there's a new TV show.
It's a new movie
film,
coming out.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's,
there's a new film, and there was a TV show that I'm assuming is still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure Jason Biggs is one of the Turtles.
All right.
Okay.
You know, yeah, there's a couple of them, famous. Sean Astin, you know, Samwise from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's one of the Turtles as well.
Huh.
Yeah, and so it's. I mean, wherever you go now, whenever in the shops, Turtles merchandise everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's always kind of been out there, whether it's like new cartoons or whatever. But like you say, it's kind of having a bit of a resurgence in particular just now.
It's such a weird concept when you think about it as well. These like Ninja Turtles that eat pizza and are trained by a giant rat. Do you know what I mean?
And live in the sewer, yeah.
Yeah.
My life story, basically.
I mean, do the Turtles? Do they come from comics? I assume maybe originally. I don't know. I don't know the backstory.
Couldn't tell you. Probably just some junkie writing up stories in his house and sending them into Fox or Warner Brothers or whatever.
It's hard to tell sometimes whether, because I'm obviously doing this article today, a lot of shows either start to push or promote a toy line, or they kind of happen at the same time. So I don't know. I don't think Turtles was a comic or anything like that, but whether it was intended to be a toy range and then they made a TV series as well.
No, according to Wikipedia, it was a comic book.
Oh, was it?
All right.
Apparently, yeah.
Stand corrected.
But then that's Wikipedia, so I mean, I take it with a pinch of salt.
The other ones, like in Everyone remembers the X-Men cartoon series, don't they?
Yeah.
Saturday mornings.
Is that going to be our intro for this week, is it?
It's got a great theme tune.
I can finally use myself as the outro. That's what I'll do. I'll drop that in at the end. And the Spider-Man one as well, that we were talking about a couple of days ago. The fellow from Aerosmith, who does the tune for it. Did you watch the trailer that I put up?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember the cartoon? No.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I don't remember that being the theme tune at all.
No.
I remember the TV show.
Those two and the Batman animated series from back in the day. They were like, I could go back and watch them now, and I would still love them. They were really well made, and they had that kind of that factor that made you want to just keep watching it forever. You know, like you could go back and rewatch the same episode over and over and over again. Made to sell VHS, I suppose, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the other ones, like, it was all kind of computer game stuff that I watched. I mean, I was the kind of Super Nintendo, Sega Mega Drive generation. So I got Super Mario cartoon. Any of you watched that?
I think I got it on video one year for Christmas, and it was pretty naff, to be honest. I think possibly at that stage I was sort of drifting out of being too cool for cartoons and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's actually interesting. Before the podcast, and we were having a think of what could be revamped into a movie. I know they made an awful Super Mario Brothers movie. When was it? In the mid-90s, maybe?
I thought that would maybe be 80s.
Oh, really? Is that old?
I think so. It looks that old when you go back and watch it.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that old. Anyway, that's a cartoon that I think would possibly work again as a sort of revamped cartoon or a movie done properly. I think Mario has stood the test of time over many, many generations of people, and I think there's an audience there, and if they were to do a TV show or film right, then I think there's definitely a market that can be tapped into there.
They could do a TV show. I don't think Nintendo would ever give up the rights to do a movie of it.
Yeah,
probably because they don't have the money, basically.
Yeah.
Oh well, they do have the money. They just don't want to spend the money.
Yeah. I mean, if they are making a Mario TV show again, it would have to be a sort of animated thing, aimed at kids.
Oh yeah, of course.
I can't imagine a Super Mario, drama show.
Do you know what
Really?
That would be mental. I would watch that if they did that. But the worst thing about the old cartoon was the voices. The voices didn't work because they were all really stereotyped. I mean, the wee Toad guy, he had like the worst New Jersey accent ever. It was like, "Hey Mario, you wanna come over and get some pizza?" It was just so shit. It was like actually as bad as mine.
I've got a couple of Nintendo ones on my list actually.
Okay.
The Legend of Zelda. Did any of you guys watch the TV series of that?
No, I heard it existed.
I didn't even know there was.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I loved it.
I played. I had the computer games on the NES, but I didn't know there was a TV show.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I think there's only like 13 episodes or something, but I think it's maybe based on the first 2 Zelda games. But it's great.
Awesome.
It was one of my favourite ones growing up. And then another one which, until I did the list earlier today, I'd completely forgotten I watched was something.
Please tell me it's from Jim.
No, it's something called Captain N, the Game Master.
That sounds fucking awful.
It's basically this guy who's, I think he's playing a Nintendo game on his TV or something. Anyway, he gets sucked into the TV with his dog, obviously, and he gets sucked into this world called Video World, which is essentially a world full of Nintendo characters. So he joins up with the goodies, who are called the N Team, and it's people from Castlevania and Mega Man.
This sounds
like that.
absolutely magic. Is this on YouTube?
Probably. I know the opening intro was because I watched it and I was like, "Oh my god, I completely forgotten I used to watch this."
Captain N.
Captain N, so N for Nintendo, the Game Master. and
I'll hunt this down for the
they
link.
fight
Thank you.
they fight baddies like Donkey Kong and things like that. Anyway, it's I think maybe I must have had it like an episode on VHS or something. I definitely remember it. I don't remember any big storylines or anything like that, but yeah, it was good. But The Legend of Zelda is awesome. That's definitely on YouTube. You need to watch that.
Do you know, for a long
Good
time, I thought that the character was called Zelda, but the character's called Link.
Link.
Is that right?
Yeah, and there's Princess Zelda. Yeah.
I thought the lead was always Zelda.
That is such a massive, property now. Like with so many console games, I can't believe they've never made a film of it. So
that's the one that was rumours that Nintendo were thinking about doing a movie of.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think they could, because the games are different. The games are puzzle games, kind of. Like there's too much. That's what most of the games are about, rather than the story. Because the story's the same every time.
Well, for the TV series, because I've never played any of the games, the TV series was more about Zelda and Link teaming up to fight. I think the guy in the TV series is called Ganon. I don't know if
Ganon,
yeah,
the pig guy.
the pig guy. And he's got they've got the Triforce of Wisdom, and he's got the Triforce of Power, and then whoever combines the two will have power over the world or whatever. So it's more about them just defending the kingdom from him. So it's got, there's a different story every episode. So, it's been done before. So whether they can do that for a film, I don't know.
Yeah, I think if they'd done it wrong, there would be too many fans going after them for it. The other one I had on my list was, again, Nintendo property, Pokemon. I love the Pokemon cartoon.
Oh, I love Pokemon.
I was a total junkie for Pokemon. But that's another one. I could probably go back and watch that and still laugh at it, just because like all the kind of nostalgia around it. That was a great show.
It's now on Netflix.
It is.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, might actually go back and watch it then. So yeah, obviously, Kate, you've got your article coming out.
Yeah,
it'll be out yesterday by the time this comes out.
Yes.
So make sure you go and read that. Put it in the link dump, and yeah, make sure you click on it and tell all your friends about it. And get them to tell their friends. And you see where it's going.
I did want to mention just a couple more, just to get it out there. There's
go for
it. There's one called Pirates of Darkwater. Did any of you watch that one?
I've never heard of it.
It was on. No, it's again really good. All on YouTube. You need to watch it. It's I think it was on CBBC, maybe early 90s. It's down as being launched in 1991, so we probably got it 3 or 4 years after that. So probably mid-90s BBC. Animated series about... it's kind of like a world where dark water, which is kind of like this oozy black slime stuff, is taking over the world. And but it's all set at sea, so you've got like the good pirates who are trying to find the treasures to stop the dark water, and then you've got the evil pirates as well. And it's just such a great series because it's the mythology is so good in it, and the characters are really great, and you can just tell it's a really well thought through series, and it's just full of adventure. And the Dark Dweller, who's the guy who's creating all this dark water, is proper freaky, and I just think it's maybe hopefully I think it would be the next big Pirates franchise, because Pirates of the Caribbean is probably on its way out, even though they keep making new ones.
I think Pirates is very in at the moment as well.
Yeah, it's just been stuck on the shelf for ages, and I just wish someone would remember it and do something with it, because it's great little show. And then the other one, I think Stu, you had this on your list actually, was Mighty Max.
Oh, I did have it on the list.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
It was. It was.
I sat for about 40 minutes the other day just looking at all the toys that I used to have.
Yeah,
do you know that's what I was going to mention. I don't remember the TV show, but I remember Mighty Max toys. It was a little thing that fit in your hand, and it was like a little cave that he lived in and stuff.
Yeah,
it was basically like the boys' version of Polly Pocket.
That's
wasn't
right.
it?
Yeah, the toys.
Yeah, and so each set was like like a snake or a cyclops or
like
something.
some kind of monster.
Yeah, and then you could get the bigger, like Skull Mountain, was it? Where Schoolmaster lived, who was the big villain of the series.
Oh yeah.
But that was a great show, and that's got real potential to be made into a franchise, like a young adult franchise.
I would love to see that come back.
Another one where you just like somebody remember it and do something with it. So.
Did you ever have any of them on videotape on VHS?
Yeah, because that was another CBBC show, I think, and we recorded it actually every week.
See, the thing that I remember from it is all the VHS tapes had like a 3D cover.
Oh, right.
And they were murder to try and store. They always used to get bashed in and all that. that was like that and the toys were the things that kind of made my memories of that.
Yeah.
But I could probably remember like all of the stories from it that I'd seen.
Yeah.
It was a great show.
It was, yeah. And again,
very underrated.
Yeah, I think that's all on YouTube as well. So one day I will actually watch them all again, I think, because again, a bit like Pirates of the Dark Water, just great mythology and great storytelling every week. So yeah, really good. But yeah, they'll all be in my feature anyway, which will be on the website.
Do you know another one that I think might actually be work well? Can I ask you your thoughts on the Mr. Men? Do you think that could work as either as a film or a sort of revamped TV series, or do you think it's stay as it was? Very serious.
I think it's too kind of preschool-ish. I don't think it's really.
Do you not think you can make the jump
accessible for older kids than that?
Yeah.
Obviously, we kind of relate to it because that was like we weren't taught that way, but it was around when we were kids and getting stuck in front of the TV and all that. And it did have like kind of morals to it and all that. But I don't think. I mean, I must have stopped watching that when I was like 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's like any diehard fans, is there?
No, I think you're probably right. I used to love the Mr. Men as a kid, and in a way I still do fondly look back at them, and I just wish there was some sort of more of a market for them. Again, I think it's a very, very British thing. I don't think it's very popular abroad. But anyway,
I think it lives up. I think it lives on more through the books, though, really, doesn't it?
I was going to say, it was all from the books, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think to own like the big you get the big 50 not box set, but book set of it. And I think that's something to kind of, it's quite a nice collectible to have and a nice treasure to have as a little kid. But I don't remember much about the TV series, actually. I remember it existing, but I don't remember much about the animation of it or the voiceover or anything like that. So
yeah, I remember that, and I think it was Spot the Dog and Paddington Bear used to be on the BBC at the weekends when like all the other channels had the good cartoons, But I do remember the cartoon. I think it's very young kids TV.
Yeah. I think it's because
they could do it again. They could do it again, but in a different animation style or whatever.
Yeah. But
it would just be basically the same,
Yeah, I remember. Maybe it's because I've got such a fond memory of it growing up, and the fact that when I was like 4 years old in nursery, I got made to stand up in front of nursery and do the whole "when I grow up, I want to be," and I'm sure mine was to be Mr. Jelly. I don't know why I wanted to be Mr. Jelly.
Not Mr. Tickle with those long ass arms. No,
Mr. Jelly. Don't know why. My mum continues to remind me about it.
Alright, so I think we'll just close it up here. Thanks to everyone for listening, and thanks to you guys for coming on. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. If you just search TV and Film Review. You can find us on youtube.com/TV and Film Reviews with an S. I need to specify that every time. That's my thing. And you can get us on you can get us on iTunes if you search TVFR. You'll get us the podcast there if you're not already listening to it. I know most of you are. So that's great. So thanks again to David. If you want to give your Twitter a wee plug.
Yeah, I'm at David McGregor84.
And Kate.
Follow me on Twitter at _CultureMouse.
And Liam.
Crisp_packet.
And I am at the Stew Dog, STEW, not STU. They're rubbish. And of course, you can follow us on the TVFR podcast now as well. It's at TVFR podcast. We've got a new Twitter page and everything. We'll be posting updates on when the podcast is out. Which I just realised is kind of counterproductive because by the time you hear this, it'll already be out. You know what I mean? Yeah, it'll be for the future. Planning ahead and all that. So next week we'll have a few more discussions on... No, I don't know what to give it away. Fuck. So yeah, thanks again for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. You guys have to say bye.
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 Yeah. Stu, I love it. I love it when you mention your word, Stu.
Oh.
Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do.